Y'all already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. I've seen comments in my comments section that say it's 2020, 2021. People ain't still raping people in jail. Man, that stuff ain't happening. There's too many gay dudes running around. There's too many dudes willing to give it up. That ain't what happens. Y'all think y'all know what goes on, when in reality, you have no clue what you're talking about. Today, we're going to get into some stories that have happened recently. We'll get into some videos of some of these things that have happened recently. And it all comes out of the city of brotherly love, the city of brotherly slugs, Philadelphia, man. A place that was once known for people having a new beginning. Irish, Italian, black guys, white guys, people of all races showing up at the docks to start a new life in a new world. This is what this place once was. When it comes to being incarcerated, everything that once was is exactly that. It's what it once was. Current Farmhold Correctional Facility. I'll never forget the address. 7901 State Road, Philly, PA 19136. I can tell you about this place like the back of my hand because I spent a large portion of my life, not with the 10 years I did, but as a juvenile. When I say juvenile, 18 and above, up until I went to prison, I spent a large majority of my life in this place. This is a place filled with corruption, a place that has guards that show up there for the paycheck, show up there for the title of turnkey, correctional officer, guard. A place where you can lose your life the same day you come in. A place where rape among men isn't unheard of. Y'all know I done seen it. Y'all know I done lived it. So I guess it's time we relive it again. You know, certain comments stick out to you in life. Certain things people say stick out to you. And I remember when I fell for my long bid, I called my mom. You know, love my mom. And she said, I hate that you're locked up, but I feel like I can finally sleep. I know I'm not going to get a call that you're in a ditch dead somewhere, found in a trunk or on the side of the road, and it got to you before you got too bad and actually killed somebody. She was at ease. She was at peace with me being locked up. I know from personal experience that those prisons and jails sometimes, a lot of times, are more dangerous than these streets. The only difference is it's hard to hide in a prison or a jail. Somebody can kill you on the streets and disappearing in the night. When I first started YouTube, and I've done other stories also, I spoke on guys that have been raped, violated, murdered while incarcerated. People doubt that. Nah, not in this day and time. So let's get into Armani Faison's story. Armani Faison, 35 years old, arrested, middle of March. Born in Brooklyn. This dude was a boxer. Could rumble, could fight. Accused of robbery, arson. His dad would go on to say that his son had a bipolar disorder. He had a mental disorder. And that once that kind of spiraled out of control, that's when, you know, the trouble in his life began. He was found March 27th, 7-something in the morning, dead in his cell, laying on the floor. Naked, let me rephrase that. Naked, unresponsive on his floor of a cold penitentiary cell, jail cell, and then he was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The cell had been flooded. And for y'all that don't know, every cell is equipped with a fire sprinkler on the ceiling or on the side of the wall right above the door. If you tie a sheet or something to it and you pull it, it'll pop and it'll spray. And if you take your clothes, roll them up, put them at the bottom of the door, the cell will fill up with water. This thing will spray and spray and spray until the maintenance department gets there and turns it off. That can be 10, 12 hours sometimes. They find this man laying on the floor, naked and almost dead. They said he died at the hospital. Chances are he was dead when they took him from the jail. Come to find out that another inmate, which for some reason they won't release his name. Why you wouldn't put somebody on blast that they know did this? That was the only other person in the cell with him. They won't release his name. Jail says that's against their policy to release an inmate's name. But they'll tell you about, Armani Faison. This cellmate that he was in the cell with several days prior had been moved from the cell he was in because he had tried to rape this cellmate he had. It just so happened this guy was able to reach out and get in touch with the guard and let them know, hey, this man's assaulting me and trying to rape me. What do you think they should do with the guy that's trying to rape somebody inside of a jail or a prison? Should he be moved to another cell and put with another man? Hell no. He should be put in solitary confinement and stay there until the day he dies or until they release his sick ass. It's not what they did. They moved him to another cell. Armani Faison would be put in a cell with this guy that just a couple of days prior had tried to rape and assault another inmate. Armani Faison lost his life. He screamed all night. The people in the cells around him, y'all can pull all this up, said that all night long he screamed for help as this guy was beating him. And no disrespect, man. Rest in peace. And sexually assaulting him. See, y'all under the impression that, I got some size on me. I can fight. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me. This dude was a boxer. This dude could throw these. And another man took what he wanted. Because when it comes to these, and it comes to being crazy up here, there's no comparison. You could punch a crazy man in his face, knock all his teeth out, and he won't stop because he's crazy. But this man's cries went unheard all night long. As he was beaten, as he was raped, and beaten some more. His cellmate then popped the sprinkler, as I was saying, flooded the cell, so that when the guards opened the door, all the water would rush out and attempt to wash off any evidence of the crime. But we all know, once it got to the coroner, they figured out what happened. Curing from Old Correctional Facility is a place that wouldn't be as bad as it is. Yes, there are some very violent men in there. But you've also got guys in there that range from everything from retail theft to murder. But it wouldn't be as bad as it is if it wasn't for the officers. They said in 2020, there was 250 assaults on staff. What does that tell you when in 1 year, 250 guards are assaulted? Does that tell you there's an issue with the inmates or that there's something going on with the staff? In my time at CFCF, I remember guards just not coming to work on the weekend. So then you're locked in your cell the entire weekend. Then they decide not to show up Monday or Tuesday. You're locked in there Monday and Tuesday. Now you've been in the cell 5 days because this dude decided he ain't want to come to work. Or this chick decided she ain't want to come to work. And they don't fire them because they can't get anybody else to work these jobs. They're paying these guards next to nothing. The only real thing they have is benefits. And the only two things you need to be a guard is a clean criminal history and a GED. You don't have to know anything about mental illness. You don't have to know anything about dealing with the public or dealing with men or dealing with incarcerated people. You don't have to know anything about how to de-escalate a situation. You go through a week or so of training and They throw you in there and you're supposed to oversee all these men with all these charges. First and foremost, somebody with some petty bullshit charge should not be in the same pod or cell as guys that have violent charges. The craziest part, Armani Faison died in B1. I've been through the F. B1 is processing. He never even made it out of the pod that he's supposed to go from that pod to the pod that he's going to be housed in until he goes to court. He never made it from there into the actual pod. From the time he was arrested until the time he died and was raped, it was less than a week. What y'all don't understand is things like what happened with this dude. It's not a crime of pleasure. It's a crime of power. You have some sick people in the world. Chomos, child molesters. I don't care if you mess with a child, a woman, a man. If you force yourself on someone of any age, you're a sick, fucked up individual. And there is no place on this earth for you. That's where I stand with my views. People have asked me all about this and all about that. And, hey, you know this person, you know he did that. Anybody I know that has ever caught a charge like that or has anything to do with something like that, I have cut off in life. That answers your questions. Don't put names up with question marks or are you talking about this dude? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anybody with those type of charges, I've cut off. I have family members that have fallen victim to sex crimes. Yes, I feel strongly against it. I hate it. I don't think that anybody that can take the innocence of anyone else or force someone else to do something like that has any place on this earth. And if you disagree with me, you can go up to where it says subscribe and hit unsubscribe. I do not think there is fixing anyone that could sexually molest, rape, victimize another human being, animal, anything against its will. I don't think there's no place on this earth for it. This young man was supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but he died. Will his family receive any money? No, because they'll never have an outcome of the case. All they'll ever say is, oh, well, he was locked up for robbery and arson. He's a bad person. You don't know what happened that night. He didn't have his day in court, but he had his day in that cell. As the guards were called off to the chow hall, they were understaffed. That's what they say. We're understaffed. Oh, we don't have enough guards. If you don't have enough guards, why is this place running? Why is it running? Because you know what? Regardless of how many guards y'all got, that check still rolls in. The government still gets paid a certain amount of money for every man that's in there. If you got to lock them in their cells, lock them in their cells. The cells ain't secure. I used to put a toothpaste cap in my door. It was so secure. Go walk off. I'd shake my door twice and open it. And we go right back to fighting. Me and whoever else had a beef would put a toothpaste cap in his door. We'd be out in the middle of the pod fighting. There ain't no guard in there. We could beat each other to death. And then I could go back in my cell, shut my door, and don't nobody say nothing. And Philly's known for staying quiet. Philly ain't snitching like that. If I go back in my cell, shut my door, clean myself up, all they coming into is a dead man. Protocol calls for an officer to come by every 30 minutes to an hour. This man's beating started the night before he died. And they didn't discover him till 7:38 in the morning. Like I said early on in my YouTube career, I spoke on a young guy I seen go in the shower area and get raped by a whole bunch of men. People said that's a lie. 1999, that wasn't happening. This is 2001. It is happening. But it could have been stopped. Had them guards done their rounds? Them guards been in there watching? Somebody would have came up on this dude fighting this other man and pulled them apart. Whoever decided to take the dude that tried to rape another man and then stick another man in the cell with him is ultimately responsible for that dude's death. And those are the facts. They do it because once you're locked up, you're no longer human. You become a number, an item on the shelf, something that makes money. Facts. 100%. You're an item. You're a robot. You're a dog in a cage. They get paid a certain amount of money for you every day that you're locked up. They feed you. They house you. And the majority of the money they're paid for you goes back to them. What type of man in his right mind would say, you assaulted another inmate and then tried to rape him? Hey, just put him in another cell and put another man with him. What if that man had tried to do that to your kid? Would you have said, hey, put him in the back bedroom and send my daughter back there with him? No, you wouldn't have, because you care. Curing from hold needs to be shut down. If you ain't got enough people to run the place, why is it open? Why? And anybody that's watching this from Philly can tell you the majority of the guards in there are from the streets. They're street dudes, street females. They don't give a shit about that job. All they care about is that little paycheck. That's it. The females come in and flirt with the men. The men come in and flirt with the females. They do the bare minimum and they go home. All they care about is the paycheck. I done been to rumbling. I mean rumbling, fighting, like not knowing if I'm going to win or lose and what's going on. And the guard walk right by, look in and be like, y'all getting it in and keep it moving. You think when your loved ones go to prison or they go to jail that they're safe? You have no idea. People think rape just exists with women and children. Until a man is thrown with another man that is all messed up in the head, that's thrown in the cell with a real monster. For all you dudes talking about, man, you have to kill me. Well, that's what dude did. He killed that man. I try to talk to y'all. Not because I give a shit about the prison genre or I give a shit about prison content, but because I don't want to look into these stories and see that one of y'all were found dead on the floor over something stupid. Out here doing dumb shit that can land you in a cell with a real monster. Can land you around guards that don't give a shit, don't come to work, and when they come to work, they don't do their job. This dude's got a mother, a father. His sister had to go view his body. She said he was beaten black and blue. His nose was messed up. His face was messed up. Bruises over his whole body. These are signs that this man fought. So save me and miss me with all that. Man, you got to kill me, cuz. That's what will happen. And then somebody will have sex with your dead body. And then your ass will make the news. You want to know how you avoid that? Keep your dumb ass out of the lockup. Flip burgers, bag groceries, do whatever you got to do. You got to understand that the monsters in the real world don't live in your closet. They don't live under your bed. They walk amongst us every day. They lock them up, and you can get locked up for stealing a lollipop. And that monster under the bed ain't under the bed no more. He's sitting on the bunk in the same cell, staring at you. Wake up, people. Wake up. After looking into it, Kevin Massey, Massey, 31 years old, was ultimately charged for the rape and murder of Armani Faison. Charged. He was also charged with the rape, sexual assault of another cellmate. Let's go ahead and get into the other death and the other death that's taking place in the prior months. Christopher Hinkle, young man, Ocean Township, New Jersey, made his way out to Philadelphia. What y'all don't know is, like Philadelphia, we got Kensington out in Philly, where people come to get high and they never leave. When you're done with this video, I want you to look at Kensington, Philadelphia. 2021. Open air drug market, largest in the world. You're like, hell no. Philadelphia, Kensington, open air drug market. Cops see dudes shooting dope in their veins. See dudes selling death. Hey, as long as ain't nobody dying, won't see nobody shooting, we're gonna sit here Until we get a call on our radio and something pops off, we'll deal with it. But it's just too much to deal with. That's Kensington. Christopher Hinkle gets arrested out in Philadelphia. Gets sent off. Shows up at CFCF. In the same damn pod Armani was in. April 12th, they get a call. They come in. Find him unresponsive. He's taken to Jefferson Torresdale Hospital, where his sister would say that he was fully paralyzed, in a coma. And the doctors told him he wasn't going to live. He'd been beaten to death in his cell. He's in there for a drug charge. They put him in a cell with a man that had attacked somebody on a SEPTA bus. You know the city buses? They go through whatever city you live in. I feel like we got the SEPTAs. SEPTA trains, all that. He had attacked somebody on a SEPTA bus. Had attacked somebody on a train, in the subway. And had attacked another person. Hit him in the face with a pipe. Throw him in the cell. And let's take the guy that got the drug charge, put him in the cell with the man that has attacked 3 other people in the streets of Philadelphia. Sounds like a good idea, right? Drug charge, attacked a bunch of people on the streets. Let's put them 2 in the cell. He's in jail for attacking multiple people. This guy's in jail for getting high. Let's put them together and let's see what happens. What did you think was going to happen? Dale Kirby died on January 15th in the same cell block. This is a block that you spend max maybe a week in, like before they classify you and then send you to actually where you need to be housed. These guys are dying before they even get into the pod they're supposed to be in. One of the guards came forward and said, we are getting letter upon letter upon letter upon letter from inmates crying out for help. Since the coronavirus thing has started, we started just throwing them in their cells. Hey, they ain't out in the open. We ain't got to come check on them. So we'll leave these 2 men in this cell. We'll just get to y'all whenever we get to y'all. It's like putting 2 dogs in a cell. A big angry dog and a smaller dog. Or 2 dogs are the same size. One's aggressive, one's not. It's like, well, I guess we'll just see what happens in the long run. Hey, since y'all ain't out here running about, y'all can't escape. So, shit, I'm going to go kick back in the office. I'll be up front in intake. We ain't even got to come through and check on y'all. This guy lost his life. It's not a white thing. It's not a black thing. Because as you've seen, the first man was a black man. Second man, white man. Doesn't matter. April 21st, 2 inmates pop a cell door. Stab another inmate. Get out their cell. Guards come in. Guards get stabbed. Like, how does this happen? April 19th, inmates got out their cells and set sheets on fire, just trying to burn this bitch down. April 13th, they get called to inmates inside the pod where they're supposed to be locked in their cell and they're fighting. This dude went to jail for a drug charge. You could get pulled over with possession of 3 Xanax and a cellophane wrapper and end up in CFCF, Kern Fromhold Correctional Facility, and get thrown in a cell with somebody that's been assaulting people on the streets and lose your life. You could go to jail for drunk driving. Had a couple drinks after the office party. Had a couple drinks at your homeboy's house. Known to stop after work, being a construction worker, have a couple drinks, get sent off to CFCF, and get thrown in a cell with a guy that beat you to death in less than a week of you being incarcerated. His people didn't even know he was locked up until they called and said he's on life support, about to die. He hadn't even gotten to a phone yet and had his brains bashed out. Fuck a prison genre. Fuck anybody that's got to say something about it. What I do is I try to help you guys from ever becoming victimized. There is no moral to this story. Because if there was, you didn't just listen to the whole video. Go ahead, get your gun, go outside, walk down the block, get jammed up. Get thrown in the cell with Kevin Macy. Have your naked ass found dead on the floor. With your mother and your father and your brothers and sisters to put the pieces together. Because you a gangster, right? Ain't no guns in jail. All you got is ease. You can't fight crazy. Them guards ain't gonna fight for you. They see it, they may jump in. I've been in situations where they didn't. I got a stab mark where a guard watched me get stabbed. And waited until people showed up. Had the knife not got stuck in my fucking arm, the guy would have probably killed me with it. But I was able to pull away from him with the blade in my arm and run off. What I mean run off, I mean back up, like backpedal, like we got to fight, you know what I mean? Like not on the run off shit, but backpedal, like damn, what the hell? There's a knife sticking in my arm and I'm trying to fight for my life. The guard seen it, went outside of the housing area we were in and waited for more guards to show up. Because that's protocol. But I guess protocol is also not doing your job. Not going through to check and see if the Armanis, the Christophers, you know what I mean, the Dale Kirby's are still alive. How would they like it if they came in one day and we took that uniform off of them and threw them in the cell with a dude that tried to rape a dude last week? You'd have to beat that guard in the back of his head with a baseball bat to get him in there. Because he knows what he's capable of. Armani didn't know what that dude was capable of when he walked in that cell. It's just like any other cellmate. You were here for bank robbery. You stole something. You stole a car. Broke in somebody's house. Nah. I'm a monster. Some of y'all gonna listen, some of y'all ain't, man. You live out in Philly, you already know what it is, man. Philly's one of them places where if you got $10 in your pocket, you better leave it at home. Because people hungry. The guards in the jail, the same dudes that came from them hungry streets. It's nothing nice. I'm not going to say Philly's underrated. I'm going to say that you're not safe. And all Philly dudes will agree with that. You're not safe. They don't put Philly on the news like that. Because this shit goes down every day. Little kids die every day. Dudes die inside the system, inside the jails, the prisons every month. Check out Holmesburg. Check out Greatest Check Camp Hill out. Check these places out. CF, the Roundhouse, 55th and Pine, House of Corrections, Adult Detention Center. Pick, it goes down. And it ain't just Philadelphia. It's all around the world. I'm irritated with this shit, man. I really am. Especially when I seen people talking on my name last night when they lies, talking about... I'm gonna make this clear, man. I don't fuck with no sex offenders. I don't fuck with no chomos. I don't fuck with no dummies. I don't surround myself with idiots. I surround myself with like-minded individuals. Live your best life. This is Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. I was almost 35 when I got to live my life. And I'm out this bitch living my best life. I'm not going back in there. I tell y'all these stories, and in telling y'all these stories, it helps me sleep better at night. It takes the nightmares up out my head when I go to sleep. Keeps me from seeing things when I close my eyes. So troll me. Say what you got to say to me. I'm cool with that. Just don't walk down that path. Salute to those that have lost their life. And to y'all that victimize, rape people, run down on people and think it's cool to do it. Rot in hell. Anyway, these jails, institutions, detention centers, facilities, they're all just crazier worlds inside of this already crazy world we live in. I'm turned up on this subject, man. But y'all know what I'm doing. Just trying to keep y'all entertained. Oh, you're not entertained? And as always, this is Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. And to all my real ones and the awesome real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do. Salute.